I said this earlier with Rodney Harrison and people talking about sources saying that Aaron Donald's talking about retirement, or he mentioned it to Rodney. Like, Rodney doesn't want to die, dude. Rodney doesn't want to, nobody wants to tell a lie about Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm. Definitely not.
You know what I mean?
See how he
all people.
You see how he reacts from a little after the play shove.
Yep. So that's the thing is, like, there has to be some truth to it. Now, I know AD pretty good, okay? He's the reason, number one person I'm happy for out here. Okay, we'll go through it, but I've never heard this. And, maybe it makes some sense. McVay's talking about retiring. Like, there was some talk about McVay retiring. I'm happy for McVay. We talked about this. The Rams were damn near the mini Bills. They were knocking on the door of being the mini Bills. The only positive for them is that they probably weren't going to lose another one. Okay? Like, they have burnt draft capital. They don't have a pick in the first 100.
Right.
They've got cap stuff they've got to worry about, but it is truly a burn the ships fucking thing for them. It's a Hollywood thing.
The trades they made this year.
It's a burn the ships thing for them. What this team's really about to me is just resiliency. That's the word, right? Or is it resilience? I always fuck that up.
I think either would work.
Either works?
Yeah.
Fucking English major over there, Cowboy?
Not me.
If Macon was in here, we'd know by now. At least he would deliver it in a manner with which I was convinced that he knew the word. It's resiliency or resilience. Take your pick. And it's imperfection. This team is not perfect. This team was not perfect, but they were as hot as they were resilient. I mean, they were gutsy at the end of games. The Ravens game, I mean, like a bunch of little conversions, red zone, hold on to your hats. I mean, the Niners game, the ending of that game with everything they've been through with the Niners. You talk about McVay talking about walking away and doing a Gruden thing minus the emails, hopefully, like walking away from the game and averting this mini Buffalo Bills kind of thing. 2 weeks ago, he damn near lost his 7th game to Kyle Shanahan in 10 tries or whatever it was. You talk about it was all good just a week ago or whatever. It's like the world has changed so much from what it could have been for Sean McVay. This was an enormous swing for him in his football career. So resilient, ballsy, kind of the attitude of their coach, man. Like all the games that they won at the end this year. Remember Tennessee, how they got their asses kicked against Tennessee? I said out loud that night, this team is not winning a Super Bowl. Okay, I'm learning. As a player, I never had to say who was and wasn't winning a Super Bowl. I was only worried about one team. But at one point this year, I wrote the Rams off. And I also didn't think that they'd get what they needed out of Odell. I did not know how that would end. They are so resilient. You talk about looking up in the Super Bowl, no Robert Woods, no Odell, no run game, no Higbee. You're throwing the ball to Bryson Hopkins. Okay? You wake up in the second half, it's like a bad fucking dream, dude. Odell goes down, he's grabbing his knee. The movie's turning. Like, it's that part in the movie, 4/5 of the way through the movie, and I'm sure there's a term for this, where shit starts going wrong. The happy montage is over, and somebody gets fucked up, or somebody dies. Like, they come out of the half. Yeah, the plot twist. They come out of the half, and that touchdown from Joe Burrow, and then the pick on consecutive plays would have broken a lot of other teams. It did not break the Rams. And I just think that honestly is a credit to McVay. It's a credit to their leadership. It's a credit to Matt Stafford. I don't know how much better he is better. I don't know if I can quantify how much better he is than Jared Goff, okay? But one of the ways that he is undoubtedly such a positive in a way that I'm not sure Jared Goff was is he just has that it factor, that magnetism. So, like, even if he throws a couple picks, not great in the end zone, the Skoranek drop, part of that's on Skoranek, part of that's on, Matt Stafford. The ball's not right on target. They don't blink. He doesn't blink.
Yeah.
He makes shitty throws in the game.
Never up or down, he never shows it.
Never too high, never too low. His ankle is bent in half. Okay,
cool, calm. Like, I feel like even with that situation, you can kind of tell he wanted to react to it, and it's kind of like before he walked off the field, he was like, let me get myself together because I don't want my team to see me dejected, or I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, like, look, he's hurt, like, or even feel that way. And that's a true leader.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, like, look at their run. He's made big mistakes. He made, they made, as a team, a number of mistakes in the second half of that Tampa Bay game. They survived just barely. They played so poorly that Tampa Bay didn't even play that well and came back in that game. So this has been a team that's been imperfect. They've been up and down, but they've also been really resilient. They're gamblers. They don't have a fucking first rounder until 2024. It's going to be a 7-year stretch without one.
Yep.
They have literally burnt the ships. It's a movie. It's an edgy movie. I don't know if it's Moneyball or what, but it's a movie about people that just said, fuck it. And whether you like the St. Louis thing or not, I where I land on that, but they just strong-armed this Super Bowl. I mean, they literally just went out and got it, and they burnt the ships. This movie was going to go it could have gone two totally different directions with the outcome of this game. These guys are legends now in LA for people that like football for a very long time. These guys have bought themselves a ton of rope. And talk about Les Snead, who I'm happy for. I'm very happy for Les. Like, Les cut me. Like Jeff Fisher and Les, they cap casualtied me, James Laurinaitis, Jared Cook, same day. I hold no ill will against Jeff Fisher, Les Snead. I had dinner with Les Snead the summer after he cut me. He's a good dude, and he's made a lot of impactful choices for that franchise. Right. So I'm happy for Les, his wife Kara, great people. The training staff, like, those guys were there when I was there. Reggie Scott, Byron, Tyler, Merg's still there. So, like, that for me, I know I have conflicted kind of feelings about the St. Louis LA thing. The people I don't. And I'm very happy for all the staff, and things could have gone a totally different way for a lot of the people making decisions in LA.
And you go back to the touchdown interception back-to-back plays, and after that pick, the LA Rams defense, they hold the Bengals to 11 yards on 8 plays. You said that's where it breaks a lot of teams. I mean, they got the ball right on the doorstep, and the Rams defense just stepped up, stopped them, kicked a field goal to only go down 7 points.
It's a lot the same thing we were talking about with Aaron Donald. Like, Aaron Donald was so great this year, and every year he's been great, but, like, he won't win a DPOY and people will be like, what did he do this year?
Right.
Like, he'll have 12 sacks and people will be like, was he great this year? Second quarter, I'm looking up, or third quarter, I'm looking up early, and, they run the ball in the A gap, which is not Aaron Donald's gap, and I hear Chris Collinsworth saying, it's a lot easier to run the ball on Aaron Donald. I'm like, here we go. We are commentating and watching the game based off a result. Why don't you think Aaron Donald, why don't you think we've heard from him? It ain't because he stopped being the best player in the world. It's because they've been doing a lot to keep him out of the game.
Every game you see a picture or multiple pictures of 3 offensive linemen all on Aaron Donald. You have to scheme against him.
And they did. And for a while it worked. But pass rush is like a fucking, if you have a dominant group in a big game like that, I don't care how long it doesn't seem like the rushers are there. They're there.
Yep.
Like, when you turn the lights on in the room, the rushers are there. It's like a tsunami, bro. You don't hear a tsunami. You don't hear a fucking tsunami. Maybe you do. But when that thing hits, that was like Aaron and those rushers, man. Like, that, there was a 4-possession streak, I believe, starting with Aaron Donald, who, by the way, put another 4 points on his name, sack in the red zone. There were 4 possessions in a row late in that game where Joe took sacks. 50 sacked him. Vaughn forced like a 3rd and 13 backed up. And the last sack was excuse my French, it was a fucking gangbang. That last sack juxtaposed with Joe Burrow coming out of the half, moving in the pocket, climbing, using his athleticism to launch the ball to T. Higgins. Those 2 outcomes are why, listen, they got away with drafting Jamar Chase. They got away with doing all, and they damn near could have won a Super Bowl that way. But in the long run, I want to see the Joe Burrow who climbed the pocket and hit T. Higgins, not the guy who's getting hit by so many people. I don't know who gets the sack on paper.
7 sacks, 11 hits, 18 pressures, 19 sacks in the postseason. That's the most by any quarterback. The next closest was 12.
Give the G-Shocks back.
Mm-hmm.
Throw the whole O-line away.
No, I mean, like, and it sucks to be a part of a unit like that because, like, individually, you know, there's no Superman on that line. It's like, fuck, man, a lot of those guys who are supposed to be depth guys are being asked to be like starters and people.
And so block Aaron Donald.
And block Aaron Donald and do all that.
And Von Miller and Leonard Floyd coming off the edge.
What you can't do is get in a shoving match with Aaron Donald.
Right.
What did I say? I'm sitting here like, bad idea, dude. Bad idea.
He had 0 sacks before that.
Bad idea.
2 at the end of the game.
Bad idea. And the guy who got beat was doing a lot of talking. 67 was doing a lot of talking. With the game on the line, man, as you said, Nate, there's a playoff run where you have multiple game-defining rushes in crunch time. That's the stuff we live for. Just to even be a part of one of them, to
tell people it's equivalent to hitting the game winner. Like there's no real, like, for a defensive player, like unless you catch like an interception and you run it back for a touchdown, like as a D lineman, like for you, your game winner is what Aaron Donald has been doing at the end of these games.
And here's the deal, dude. It wasn't just that play too. The forcing the 4th and 1, that was him too in the run game. He makes a play in the run game.
Unbelievable.
I mentioned the thing in the red zone. That's why, I mean, when you look at that and just the sheer, like, untold amount of mental and physical resources that Zach Taylor and the Bengals were committing to Aaron Donald, we don't even know. Like, you don't know. You don't know how many hours of film they watched because of Aaron Donald. You don't know how many considerations, how many insurance policies they put in place, the way their protections. I mean, like, that's why, to me, he is the MVP.
Burrow's 2.1 time to throw was tied for fastest this year.
No question.
So you're damn right they were thinking about
it.
They
were damn right
about it all week.
That's why, you know, a lot of people are like, when you play with a guy like Aaron Donald, isn't that great? I mean, like, I actually don't know sometimes. It can be, but the ball can also get out quicker than you've ever seen it get out in your life, and it ain't because of you.
Yeah.
They're afraid of that motherfucker. So, listen, he was so valuable to them. Vaughn was valuable to them. Every piece that they brought in on this crazy journey paid off. Odell, if they don't have Odell, who I feel terrible for, but at least he got to see the grass. Like, if they don't have Odell tonight, they don't win that game.
No.
They got out to a start because of him being in their offense, and he also seemed to be one of the biggest missing factors. So McVay, another check in the column for him. I do think they're better if you gave me Odell or Robert Woods, the way their offense was. Odell now, I still think Robert Woods was probably the either-or answer, but what they've done to adjust and change the way they've run their offense in the run game, we talked about it with Bill Barnwell, their play-action game, the type of routes they've been catering to Odell with rather than Robert Woods. Like, you lose a blocker on the outside when you lost Robert Woods. They have adapted, man. Like, it is impressive as fuck.
And just hearing that is scary to think about the wide receiving core that they still have next year with Robert Woods coming back. Yeah. You have Odell. Like, hopefully he gets healthy.
They can work the money
and everything, all that out. And you got Cooper Kupp. And that's absolutely scary to think about just for the future for them also.
Odell's contract this year, so $750,000 salary that was taken in Bitcoin, and we know how that turned out. Signing bonus of $500, that was U.S. American dollars. Wild card win, he got another $500. Divisional $750, NFC Championship $750, Super Bowl win $1 million. Yeah. So that's a cool $3 million for 3 months of work.
So good for him, and he deserves that ring, man. Like, he really does, and he should feel good about that. But again, like, you know, fuck, it's hard to tell somebody like Odell this because I'm sure he's crushed that he couldn't be out there for the whole game. But some guys, like, I remember Jason Peters didn't get to play in the Super Bowl. Darren Sproles, you know, guys like that. Like, I think we lost a whole number of guys that Philly year. So I've seen it where guys don't even get to play. At least he got to get out there, and we know they wouldn't have won the game without him. So good for him. I don't want to go too far without talking about the officiating. Here's my take. Both teams were the beneficiaries of bad calls or no calls. So I think it's all even. if I'm like litigating it, but it's also a bad look. Just because it's even, which is a big relief for the NFL, that it wasn't one bad call that weighed it one way or another. Like no call on Higgins on the touchdown, that was bad. Okay, the false start and then the PI, the same play. Double whammy in the red zone, 3rd and 9, like the Bengals are probably Super Bowl champs, or at least you're forcing a 4th and 9 in that situation. But at least on both ends of the spectrum, the refs fucked up. The bad news, good news, bad news, NFL. The good news is kind of even. Bad news, big bad calls in the biggest game in the world.
And to play a little devil's advocate here, I really did appreciate them not throwing flags prematurely when there was like little scuffles on the sidelines here and there, because I hate seeing that, especially in big games.
Yeah, they did
being decided by a flag.
They did a real good job of controlling that. There was a lot of little extra stuff that I guess in the regular season you can see like petty flags being thrown, but they did a decent job.
And here's a play. The Bengals' 3rd drive of the game, they're down 7-0. They end up kicking a field goal. But it's 3rd and 10 from the Rams' 11-yard line. They throw to Higgins over the middle. Ramsey breaks up the pass, but he pulls on the jersey to catch up.
Yep.
Now there's a little bit there, but they could have tied that game up at 7-7.
They could have, and that ended up being a big deal. The red zone stuff wasn't great for the Bengals. The red zone stuff was bad against the Raiders, I think. And that, they survived there, but like going 1 for 3 in the red zone today, not great. Ramsey didn't have his best day, but like that little play there in the red zone on 3rd, that's a 4-point difference.
That's a 4-point swing, and Ramsey wouldn't have had as bad of a day if he had gotten the call on the face mask.
Absolutely, that was the big pimple on the ass there.
Yeah,
I just, I don't think that the Rams can. I don't think any team should be watching on TV saying, let's try this at home. So many things happened for this to work out for them. And it was such a special group. I just don't think burning draft capital, lighting it on fire, and taking big chances like this normally pays off.
Never does.
Never does. So, what you just saw was somebody hit the lottery a little bit. What you just saw was you walked into the casino. If you're studying the NFL for the first time this year, you walked in the casino and you saw somebody hit like a really ill-advised bet.
Yeah.
And then you're going to keep playing the slot machine the rest of it. Don't try to copy the Rams this year. What they did was incredible. Like I said, it was like a movie, and one that I didn't see coming. I did not see the ending coming. That's why I'm happy for McVay. I'm happy for Les. I said AD. I'm not happy for Stanford Steve because Stanford Steve had bet, I guess, a sizable amount of money on Aaron Donald to win the MVP, and fuck, that didn't happen, and maybe should have. Cooper Kupp, man, though, here's an interesting point. Cooper Kupp props were actually higher than, like in a lot of ways, the way his stat line ended up. 92 yards or whatever it was.
9 for 92 and 2.
Remember we asked, those props are so high. We were talking to the dude from the Win, Mo Pearson, and we were like, when are people going to get burnt on? Now, if you told me I'm going to take the over on the Super Bowl MVP and I'm going to lose money.
Right.
I mean, that's wild. So, Cooper Kupp, amazing. Who's the last non-white guy wide receiver to win the Super Bowl MVP? It's a bit of trivia for you guys. It's becoming a real trend here.
Wes Walker.
Well, I got news for you. I got some news for you.
What?
Julian Edelman is the guy you're thinking of, and he won. Okay. So what I'm saying is, who's the last non-white
wide receiver?
Because it's fucking been a while.
Jerry Rice.
I think it's Santonio Holmes.
Oh.
Ooh. Is it Santonio Holmes? What a run for Amish-looking guys and former quarterbacks from Kent State. I mean, incredible run. Golf clap.
Why did you laugh when I said Wes Walker?
Well, because I asked for the last non-white wide receiver to win.
My bad.
Been there. And Stafford, dude. Like, here we are. This is Stafford in a lot of ways. The guy won the Super Bowl. Game-winning drive. Not perfect. Got the job done. Kind of like his team, but but pretty fucking awesome. And in my opinion, a Hall of Famer, somebody who solidifies his career, answers all the questions, and does it in spectacular fashion. Like, we just went 15, 20 minutes talking about the Rams and haven't gotten to Matt Stafford, really. Incredible. He makes so many throws that aren't great. He's human. That's why some people really like Matt Stafford. He's just fucking relatable. You get blown up in Detroit for 8-10 years. You take your medicine. You get to L.A. You still seem to get just murdered in the pocket. The hit he took against Jacksonville, I was like, oh, fuck, more of the same. There's hits. There's picks in the middle of the season. People talk about injuries. He finds a way. He's regular, dude. He's regular, but he's great at the same time. And we kind of overlook him sometimes. So I'm really glad that he answered those questions tonight.
And you talk about him being relatable. How many guys who play backyard football can relate to him rolling left out of the pocket, waving his receiver deep down the field, and launching a bomb that gets picked off, but just having the confidence like, yo, I'm going to chuck this thing.
The confidence
be ready
to throw it, the confidence to come back and ball the rest of the game in big spots, the confidence in the Ravens game to lead them to victory when he looked like shit at times, the confidence to battle back in a loss against the Niners to finish the season. That drive, we talk about throwing him in the left sideline a lot. Yeah. It's a beautiful throw. It was a great answer. He's been kind of that resilient guy his whole career, and he finishes this season in LA that way.
He's 12th all-time passing yards, 12th all-time passing touchdowns, 11th all-time completions, and 4th all-time passing yards a game. Now he has a Super Bowl.
And he threw the ball to Cooper Kupp and Calvin Johnson, which, I know usually that counts against the quarterback, but I do think it counts for something.
It has to.
Two historic receivers, he got them the rock.